Yo, yo, what's going on, guys? All right, let's get into it. I know you guys have a lot of questions, especially from the last Q&A. Basically, I put something up on my story where it just said, "Hey, what questions do you guys have for my stream?" So I'm gonna be going over these questions today. We're just gonna wait, maybe 30 seconds for people to funnel in. But all right, let's get into it. So the first question says, what's the biggest waste of time for most entrepreneurs? So, the biggest waste of time is doing low level tasks and switching through tasks. A big thing with entrepreneurs is that entrepreneurs think they can do everything. And while that's great and all, really what you're doing when you're doing everything is you're taking away your energy from the highest paying tasks possible. For example, for me personally, I'm only taking sales calls and I'm only writing copy and working on the ads. Everything else I don't want to do, so I outsource it. But the reality is most business owners don't want to do that because they think, oh, well, this other person's not going to be able to do this task, like video editing or something like this. And while that is true at face value, you got to understand the 80% rule. Hormozy always talks about the 80% rule. Anytime you're delegating a task, you got to understand that when you first onboard someone, even if they're spectacular, they're only going to do about 80% of the job that you're capable of doing. But if you're great at building systems and processes, which is actually another thing that I do, is they should be able to get to as good as you. But the reality is you can't do everything at once. And that's the biggest time waster for entrepreneurs. And the highest thing that you need to protect is your energy. And if you are constantly cycling through different tasks, that's working up your mental capacity, which is basically just draining you when it's time to actually make big decisions and hop on bigger sales calls. So for me personally, like I said, I'm only doing sales, marketing. So marketing as in creating content and running ads. But I also have people that do that for me. I just oversee it. And then I also build systems and processes. But I have people in place. I'm the guy that has the idea and I have people putting them in place. But I'm not, editing all my videos. I may give strategy or tips or something, but I'm not in the trenches doing that 24/7. And a huge thing with entrepreneurs is they want to be solopreneurs. They want to keep their 99%, their 90% profit margins, when in reality, profit margins don't really matter. Because if you're only able to make 90% profit margins on 10K a month, you're not going to be able to scale if you're doing 80 hours a week of work. So you really, to be able to scale, you need to be able to delegate and build systems and processes around it. And at face value, you need to accept the fact that the person who undertakes that role is probably going to do at least 80% of a job that you can do. So that's a good question. Second question: how do you know if your marketing problem is actually a sales problem? That's a good question. So I'm probably going to give you the answer to see, which is you guys got to stop looking at marketing and sales separately. While yes, they are a separate department, they always have to be in one engine. And in reality, when you take a look at your business as one engine and you need there to be complete continuity between marketing and sales department, you're going to have way better results. A lot of times marketing wants to blame what sales is doing, sales wants to blame what marketing is doing, but in reality, if you try to build the gap between them, you're going to succeed. And what do I mean by this? Marketers or a media buyer, they should take a look at what the sales guys, what the appointment setters, what the closers are doing on their calls,